We just finished analyzing the property. Now let's talk about buying the property. Rule number one, you make money on the buy, okay? Never go into a property saying, hey, it'll appreciate in a few years, or, oh, I could depreciate some stuff, and never feel pressured by anybody or anything. Just do your due diligence, run your numbers, and make sure it's a deal from upfront, from buying the property, and it's cash flowing properly. Yes, we talked about appreciation and depreciation in other videos. Those are additional benefits of the property, but number one, it needs to cash flow every month. So what are two ways you can buy a rental property? So one way is turnkey rentals. I've said this a few times in the last videos. This is when someone else did all the work up front for you. They may have it rent ready for you, or already have a tenant in place for you. I don't always recommend that unless you're very familiar with the turnkey operator, because you don't want to inherit a bad tenant and get stuck with them. So definitely, even though it's turnkey, whether tenant in it or not, you're going to do your due diligence on those turnkey operators, on their past experiences with other clients. Check the reviews online and do anything you can to find out more about them until you build that relationship. You're going to pay a premium because they did all the work for you. There still is risk, but they took a lot of the upfront risk for you. That's why you're paying the premium. And always do your due diligence on turnkey purchases. Another way is you can do it yourself, right? We talked about the marketing and getting lead flow into your business, right? So you can do the direct marketing to the sellers or motivated sellers by direct mail, cold calling, door knocking, just finding distressed properties, or buying from a wholesaler or an agent that has a distressed property, and you could take it from the start in its condition and get it into working and operating order. So those are two different ways you can approach buying the property. Now let's talk about financing the property, right? Financing is a tool to accomplish your goals when buying a rental property. So you want to know and have the right financing package so you can get the best profits for your deal. The best way to do that is look at different loan products. I always recommend calling all different tiers of banks. I always say you have like the Chase Bank, the Bank of America. You have the traditional lending route where you'll probably get a great deal. However, they're going to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to want W-2s, tax records, credit scores, job history. They're going to go over everything possible, which is okay. That's just one option. So next one is DSCR loans. Okay, these loans are asset-based loans where you will, the lender will base their lending on the value of the property. So once it's appraised, they are going to say, hey, this property is worth $100,000. We will lend you 70% of the appraised value, which is $70,000. So you would work your numbers within that category. Then there's community banks and credit unions, right? So they can be more personable relationships. Those are good ones. They're still going to go probably through all your personal records, but maybe not as deep. And like I said, it's more personable. And the more deals you do, you work with someone sitting in the office in your local community. So that's also helpful. There's also hard money lenders. You're going to find these at your local real estate investing meetings. These are not long-term loans. Hard money loans are more aggressive and they're short. They're more entrance strategies that you leverage hard money loans to get into the deal. Okay, so they're going to be higher interest rates, short term, like I said, 6 months to a year, and they're usually, just to keep it simple, they're going to lend you usually 80 to 90% of your acquisition price. So if your deal with the homeowner is $100,000, they're going to lend you 80 to 90 grand. Okay, so you would have to come up with 10 or 20,000 to acquire it, plus closing costs, plus renovations. You're still going to have to have all that in order. Then we have private lending. I love private lending. I did the majority of my real estate investing through private lending, and that is with I say personal relationships, or friends and family, or people you meet through networking that have cash sitting in the bank, self-directed IRAs, money just kind of sitting there not working, where they need an operator to work their money in the real estate projects, and you guys joint venture or within a LLC or their first lien position on your deal. That's my favorite. Then you have creative financing. So what's creative financing? Owner finance or seller carryback. That's when the owner, let's say they own it free and clear, they'll say, yes, I will sell you my house for $100,000. Give me 10 grand down. We'll do 5% interest. We'll do it for whatever 30-year amortization schedule with a 10-year balloon, right? So you can get very creative with seller carrybacks, especially when the owner owns the house free and clear. It doesn't always have to be free and clear, but it is a creative way. Then super big buzzword nowadays, subject to investing, subject to existing mortgage. This is when the owner still has a mortgage in play and you will make the payments to the bank on their behalf. The bank loan will stay in the homeowner's name, but you will get the title to the property. So this is very important to clarify that you are not assuming the loan is not going into your name, it is staying in their name. That's what's great about it. Remember why real estate's an ideal investment? The L is leverage. So you're leveraging this person's credit power to finance the property. So you may have to come up with maybe sometimes it's common for them to be in foreclosure. So you might bring them current, or if they're not in foreclosure, you might give them a down payment. Just depends on the scenario. Every deal is different, but you get to make the payments on their behalf and leverage their credit power to own a property. And lease options, right? Sometimes you could say, hey, let me lease it for a year and get an option on the property to control the property, and then you can execute that. You could lease it from them, and right, this is great. So you can, in short, let's say you lease it to them for $1,000 a month, you could re-rent it out at $1,700 a month, right? And then you say, hey, I'll execute my option in 2 years. So you could lease it from them and put a renter in there, and then execute your option in 2 years when you got your financing straight or whatever it may be. Just another way to control property without paying for it up front and leveraging the other person's resources. All right, so those are 2 ways, right? Turnkey or go find it yourself. And those are 6 different categories on financing options to purchase the property. So then you have all that in place, right? So you know what product you're using to fund the property. Now you need to write the offer. So when making this offer on the property, there's 2 things you want to consider: price and terms. You may have heard the old saying, your price, my terms, or vice versa, right? So you definitely want to start there. So before making the offer, there's 3 things I want you to consider. And when you're talking to the seller, right, you want to know, why are they selling, right? Because we're coming there, especially in distressed properties, we want to solve their problems. Usually it's our cash that's solving their problems, right? Or moving quickly and taking over this headache property. That's usually the main thing. So why are they selling, right? How can we help them get out of this situation? Timeline, when do they need to sell by, right? Sometimes if you're using hard money or cash from a private lender or yourself, you can move a lot quicker. You can buy the house in 7 days, 3 days, 10 days, and that might be a huge advantage for the homeowner, especially if they're in a tight spot. Or they might be willing to sell you at a discount. The numbers work, but they're really not in a rush. Then this will allow you to lock up the deal long enough to go through the financing process with a bank. And 3, flexibility. You want to always, in the wholesale world, we're always giving cash offers. I always say give cash offers. If you can get a low, cheap cash offer, that's a great way to go. However, if they're flexible, I always say, oh, wait, you don't like my lower cash offer, so you want a higher price. Will you take payments over time? Is there flexibility there where we'll give them their price, but our terms? That's what I mean. So now you know where they're at, where they stand, and you're going to be giving them that offer, whether it's cash or flexibility, and you're going to put a contract together. Contracts are easy to get. You can have a real estate agent write the offer for you for maybe a flat fee. It depends if they're your agent and they're representing you. There's a way of paying them properly, their full commission. However, sometimes if you found the deal and you just want an agent to oversee everything, you could pay them a flat fee just to do the paperwork. Also, you don't even need an agent. You can also just use a regular standard cash as is, where is purchase contract. You can get that from title companies, other real estate investors, your local REIA. They're very easy to find. What are some components of that contract I'd like you to have on there? Right? This is not legal advice, but it's very important to have the buyer and seller name, right? You got to have the date of the property, the purchase price, close of escrow, earnest deposit, and inspection period, right? So these are some very important parts. Everyone needs to sign and date it with their personal and company names. Is there any special terms involved on this contract, right? That might be, sometimes we do what's called a holdback, right? They say, hey, after closing, I need to stay in the property for 2 weeks, right? So sometimes we hold back some of their profits at escrow, and once they move out in 2 weeks, we release the money back to them. So there's a lot of creative things you can do, right? If there's tenants in place and you want the security deposits to transfer over, so there's a lot of things you'll learn the more deals you do. So what are some things we could do maybe to get more deals and offers accepted, right? Just because you found a house that made sense, you found someone that said, yes, I want to offer, yes, you ran your numbers, you knew what you need to offer, and that doesn't mean they're going to say yes, right? But you still need 80 to 100 offers. You got to get that one out. You got to give them something tangible, something for them to read in their email or print it out, something to know and show that you're serious. So you got to have a follow-up plan when it comes to submitting your offers, okay? So this isn't an impulse buy. We're not at the grocery store and you're like, oh shoot, I want some gum. You grab some gum, throw it on the table, and you buy it. This is very emotional for them, right? It's not for you, it's emotional for them. It's a house that they lived in for 30 years. So you want to build that relationship. You want to bring down the resistance, build the trust, right? So they're not going to say, oh yeah, I'll sell you a home. Oh, you want to buy my house? All right, come over today. Let's sign the contract. 50% off? Yeah, I'll do that. Doesn't happen, right? So if you take anything from this video, this is key. Follow-up, fortune in the follow-up. You want to have a plan. You submit the offer and you keep in touch with them if they're not ready to sell yet, right? You want to be top of mind when it comes to the time that they're ready to sell. Be yourself. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. Don't be needy, right? Don't rush them. Don't act like this is you gotta do this deal to pay all your bills tomorrow. That just sets them off. But act with urgency though, like, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm a professional. I'm a cash buyer. I'm looking for my next rental property. I'm ready to go today. So you do want to show confidence, okay? And once again, I'll just repeat it. Follow up. All right. So now let's talk about we got the offer out. We talked about the contract, and say it's all going well, right? And you take that contract, and what you're going to do is open up escrow, right, with the title company. And you're going to bring that with your earnest deposit to the title company. The title company will start running what we call a title report, and a preliminary title report. They're basically looking for liens, judgments, and encumbrances on the property. They're making sure that's the real seller, right? They're making sure they can sell the house, and they are confident to give title insurance on that property. So if anything ever comes back on you or the future owner, you have insurance saying, hey, I bought a title report, and the insurance company will, any blemishes on the title, they will handle. And this also, when what will happen when they're doing that research, like look at the bank loan balance, look at the payoffs, they're just making sure everything's clean and ready for you to go. So you'll take that to the title company, the investor-friendly title company that you chose, that you met through networking. What else can we talk about? So now you set up an inspection period, right? When you're new, I want you to have an inspection period. So in that inspection period, this is your time to bring in your contractor, your inspector, your lender, or anybody that needs to see this property. It's for you to make sure the tenants are there, or they're really under lease. They got you. You're making sure everything matches up from the lease agreements, and the tenants say it's all correct. You're making sure everyone's honest. So this is your time to do so. And if you find out that there's more work than you thought, or there's just blemishes with the property or the title, this is your time within that inspection period to back out and get your earnest money back. So I like to say, shopping for real estate is like going to the grocery store. It's like you get the opportunity. There's no reason you shouldn't be writing offers on properties and shopping every day. Let's say you go to the grocery store. You're going up and down the aisle. You get some steak, you get some bread, you get some cereal, get some milk, whatever it is. You fill up your grocery cart. You got $500 worth of groceries in your grocery cart. You pull up to the cashier. It's your time to check out. You put everything on the conveyor belt, and you forget your wallet. You don't have to buy the food. You just walk out. They take your food and they put it back on the shelf. You don't get in trouble. It's not illegal, right? So you can do the same in real estate investing. You can go on MLS, you can go on Zillow, you can look at for sale by owners, you could talk to the owners, you can talk to them for days, hours, minutes, you can ask them anything you want, you can give them an offer. They can say yes to the offer. If you, right? You can get all the way to writing the contract, opening up escrow, going through inspection, and just like leaving all your groceries at the counter, you could walk out. Okay, so there's no reason you shouldn't be writing offers every single day. So get that inspection during the inspection period. During that time, also if you're using a bank, the appraisal will happen. Title search is going on. If everything's looking good, you're going to be getting your insurance agent to be getting you quotes, because you're going to have to submit your insurance policy to the bank at close, or to the title at closing, so they get added into all the closing costs, so you can pay for your homeowner's insurance. That's very important. And then you definitely want to, from there, once everything is clear, title says clear to close, the title report looks good, your insurance is in place, everything is just ready to go and recorded, your bank's ready, the title will send a mobile notary, where you can go down to the title company or wherever it may be. The sellers can come to the title company. You're never do it together anymore like the old school. Mobile notaries can go to the seller's house, to your job, wherever it is, so you don't have to worry about being at the title company. They'll record all the documents, they'll notarize all the documents, and fund the property. So that's what I have for buying the property. I know we breezed through that. A lot of notes to take on there. So after this, the next video is going to be on managing the property, right? You just closed title, you got your first rental property. Now you have to manage your business. So see you in the next video.